Okay, I kind of already just lost my voice because I was going to give you a nice little Final Fantasy VII Rebirth review because, spoiler alert, the game is literally perfect and I have no bad things to say about it. So it's going to be a 40-minute video of me just saying the beautiful things of this game. But when it comes down to it, other things decided to happen. Like Persona 3 dropping the answer, or at least announcing it for September, so look forward to that. And also, Rooster Teeth died, so let's bring that up. And also, my voice is kind of dead today because I wasted all that on that 40 minutes of Rebirth, so congratulations, you hear a dead me today. But when it comes down to it though, this is big ass news. This is big ass news like Callie's ass cheeks. When it comes down to it though, yeah, Rooster Teeth is actually dead because Warner Brothers killed the hell out of that place. Let's keep it a stat real quick for 10 seconds. Yes, Rooster Teeth needed to die. I'm gonna be honest with you. They had too much shit in their baggage. They had too much shit going on back then. And honestly, it needs some damn repercussions. Unfortunately, the only part that sucks about this is that, you know, the people that worked there that probably didn't necessarily do anything wrong is probably not necessarily having a position in Warner Brothers at all when it comes down to things and they have to look for a new job. That's unfortunate. There has been a massive amount of layoffs in just the entertainment industry for some reason, and I don't know why. It's some weird shit, it's some suspicious shit, but it's definitely some weird shit. And obviously with Rooster Teeth done, that means Death Battle is going to be done for a minute. That means, you know, your Red versus Blue going to be done for a minute. The podcast is going to be done, and that means RWBY is basically kind of done for the moment. But what does this mean for everything, right? Well, we don't necessarily know things about Death Battle, which honestly Death Battle still have their rights retained to certain people, so they could revive it if they really want to. But when it comes to things like RWBY, that shit's getting sold off. To who? We don't know. They're in talks with people that's gonna sell RWBY off, but they don't necessarily have anybody locked down just yet, even though I feel like they probably will have someone locked down pretty damn soon. So what does this mean as a whole, right? So what does this mean? Really, I'm just going to be focusing on RWBY more than anything else because RWBY is the main thing I really give a shit about when it comes to Rooster Teeth outside of Death Battle. But when it comes down to it though, man, this is going to be tough. Because on one hand, you could be celebrating this shit and being like, yes, this means there's going to be new shit for RWBY and a new chance for RWBY to come through. But then also at the same time, this could easily erase everything that RWBY has made for the last, I don't know how long RWBY been out, but for some years now. And when it comes down to it though, if they decide, whoever the person could be Netflix, could be Crunchyroll, unfortunately, could be a random studio from Japan, could be anybody. When it comes down to it, anybody could come through and just straight up take RWBY of what it is and say balls to it. Literally reboot the whole series, restart it, retcon certain things, and then just be like, yeah, this is RWBY now. And that would be kinda bad. Can I be honest with you? Because even I was like, yo, I don't like RWBY's writing like that, but I would rather to have it finish its story from beginning to end before any nonsense happened. Unfortunately, nonsense happened, so this is where we're at right now. And while I'm also not necessarily super for the writing of RWBY, again, I would rather see its end though. But because it's not ending, and because there's still a lot of things that I guess they wanted to do, RWBY's in a weird predicament right now. I don't think it's going to take long for someone to buy RWBY. I think somebody's going to buy RWBY, honestly. Hell, it would not surprise me at the end of this week we end up hearing somebody, you know, getting the rights to RWBY, honestly. It most likely would be potentially Crunchyroll. I don't want it to be, but it could be. But when it comes down to it though, you know, somebody's gonna get it. Because out of everything, RWBY is by far the most popular thing and the most biggest moneymaker that Rooster Teeth had. And when it comes down to it though, just having one banger is not necessarily enough to keep you afloat. Plus the other controversies as well. But the question really comes down to, what do we have for the future of this show? What is this show going to end up becoming? Hell, what is the IP going to be doing? Well, there's a plethora of things that could happen. One, again, the whole reboot and maybe the continuation of the story, but it could be something different or whatever. But this also could mean that there's an opportunity for RWBY games to come out and actually be better than what they ever could be, right? It would be nice to get a nice triple A RWBY game or a nice double A RWBY game or so that's actually not crap in 5,000 ways than one, it would actually be nice to see something like that. It would also be nice to see, you know, what other items and merchandise that they could come out with RWBY and actually capitalize on what RWBY is and what it could do and things of the sort, right? It can definitely capitalize on things. Whatever happens in the future, though, this is definitely going to change RWBY forever, 100%. And, you know, the whole thing about people, and if they decide to take RWBY into a reboot route and decide to do whatever the hell they want to with it, at this point, this is gonna be not the RWBY that you probably want to even see. And whatever people had to complain about or, you know, arguing about when it comes to like the Monty own vision of things and all that sort of stuff, to be very honest with you, to keep it very much a stack with you, that won't matter anymore. None of that will matter anymore, because if they decide, whoever buys it decides to take it into a new route, everything of Rooster Teeth, everything of Monty outside of the idea, all that's gone. All that shit's gone. So you have really nothing to really complain about at this point, or at least not complain about, like, but to argue against when it comes down to it, because this is a new take on the characters. This is a new thing, right? And it could still follow the same story that it has in just a different way, right? It still could, because you could easily hire the old writers, easily hire like the old staff and people that worked on the show. You could easily do that. But the question is that company going to do that? Or are they going to take the IP and do something else with it? And that's like the biggest thing. And it would very much suck if RWBY actually does kind of die in a way where no one cares about the show anymore. No one wants the show anymore because they took it into a very new route, or they did something to it that hurts a lot of people when it comes to watching it after so many years of dedicating their time and life to it, honestly. Because for a lot of people, and even for some people that watches me, a lot of y'all really give a shit about RWBY. So I can't sit here and be like, well, here's what I would do. I'ma reboot that bitch. And let me tell you else what I'm about to do. I'm about to go ahead and just make a beach episode out of RWBY, which I would not mind. And when it comes down to it, we're gonna have some thick ass RWBY characters doing some fun battle and shit with some nice angles. You know, as much as I wouldn't mind that, you know, that's me versus like millions potentially of people that really give a damn about this product. But the point is, I'm not trying to scare any type of RWBY fan or anything like that, but we have talked about it a little bit on this channel, and for the little bit that I have, you know, talked about it and the stuff I have seen in the show, to be honest, I'm just gonna basically say is, we don't necessarily know. Let's believe that live stream tomorrow is gonna have RWBY possibly at a huge talking point about what is gonna happen to the show and everything about it and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, they're still probably gonna release whatever they're gonna release for RWBY and get it done when it comes down to it, because, you know, you can't necessarily just back out of something, you know, once certain things kind of happen, right? Even if certain things kind of happen. So if there is a project that RWBY is on, if there is some other stuff that RWBY is on, most likely they'll continue with that and then, you know, do it in that sort of way. But then after the rights is sold off and whatever, then, you know, that's when new RWBY era kind of starts, and then we don't know what the hell happens after that. Like I said, it could be a reboot, could be a continuation, could be retconning, do its own thing, because it could do a lot of things, honestly. Even if it was continuing the story, they could just change stuff as they go. Boom, Bumblebee no longer exists. Boom, let's say, I don't know, like some parts of the story that was major once just get taken out of, or it doesn't matter anymore because a new thing happens. Or boom, like for whatever reason, the Silver Eyes are starting to be more important than they ever have been before. Or whatever they decide to do, whatever company that decides to get it, honestly. Again, I don't see RWBY sitting out for like a long period of time. RWBY has some money behind it, so if they're gonna cash in on it, somebody's gonna do it pretty damn quickly, right? More so than any of the other series that's out there. So when it comes down to it, RWBY's future is very much an unknown. It's very much an unknown, and at the moment, we have literally no information to go on outside the fact that you know, Warner Brothers is very much trying to sell this whole IP at the moment. So yeah, it's just been a wild day. So yeah, that's essentially all I really want to bring up with this one. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. What would you do if you had the IP of RWBY, and what would you do with it? Would you continue the story? Would you change it? Would you retcon things? Let me know, because I obviously have my issue with RWBY, which is why I made my own fanfiction series, which is why I included RWBY in it, which is why I decided to just, you know, do my own bit of workaround when it comes to the characters, because I don't hate the characters, I just hate how they was written. That's it. And yeah, did my own thing when it comes down to that. But still, nonetheless, this is huge, because this is for that was really for me, for my own fanfiction. But for whatever is going to happen with whoever buys it, this is for literally everybody. And again, this could just come down to just a straight up reboot, or it could come down to just anything else as a continuation or whatever. Who knows? But because obviously DC and RWBY crossover, that didn't do anything like they thought they was gonna do. Granted, they wasn't cooking at all when it came to that movie, but still they tried it, which I guess you could give them points for effort for trying, but still that wasn't gonna save them, with also the myriad of other problems with it too. So yeah, that's essentially all I got for you for this one, so hopefully you enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification else. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.